friends. Welcome to another yoga video. I had a request recently for hip openers and shoulder openers, so that is what we will delve into for this particular practice. Okay, so let's get started with a child's pose to begin with, which will allow us to open our hips right away. So let's take our knees to the width of our mat, make sure our toes are untucked. We'll take our arms out towards the front of the mat, extending the arms, fingertips fanned out, and sink our beautiful hips towards our heels. Okay, forehead soft on the mat, maybe rocking our head side to side to massage out the creases of our foreheads. Then finding stillness here as we come to our breath. I'd like to focus on our breath a little bit more this practice by bringing in a technique where we will allow the exhales to become a little bit longer than the inhales. And when we do this, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, allowing us to get into rest and digest in the body. Okay, so with our inhales, we'll count to a count of 4 through the nose, and we'll exhale to a count of 6 through our nose. Beginning now to the belly, inhaling for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going to the count of your own breath. Complete one more full cycle of breath. And then return to your natural breathing. Knowing you can come to that particular technique anytime throughout your day, especially when you're feeling like you've gone into a bit of a fight or flight mode. Okay, we'll stay here for just a little bit longer as we begin to walk our hands off of our mats to the left, maybe bringing our heads with us, stretching into the right shoulder down towards your armpit, perhaps taking the right hand and plunking it on top of the left. If you want a bit more of a stretch there into the right side. Let's start to walk our hands back through center, and we'll make our way all the way to the other side. So hands might go off the mat. Maybe the left hand this time has made its way on top of the right hand. Breathing into the left side body. Let's come back through center with the hands and our heads, and then begin to rise up onto hands and knees and actually slither all the way onto your bellies. Okay, so lengthen out the legs. Alrighty. Next pose, I just love the name. It's called pulling the cat's tail. It's actually quite a yin pose. It's a great pose for opening up shoulders, a little bit of hips as well. So let's extend our left arm right from the shoulder socket, okay? And then we'll take our heads and we'll rest our heads onto the left cheek, okay? So heads onto the left cheek, left arm extended, right hand will place itself under the shoulder, okay? Bracing ourselves on the mat. And then as we press into the mat with the right hand, bend the right knee and take that leg, the right leg, across your body, all the way behind you so that eventually maybe the right toes tickle the floor beyond your left leg. So now we're completely on the left side of our body on the floor. You might stay here, or maybe if you feel okay to do so, your left arm might come and reach its way behind your low back. Another option might be, if it's available for you today, to bend that right knee like you were doing already, pick up the foot, maybe reach around and grab the right ankle or the foot here. Whatever position we're doing in this posture, remember to come back to your breath. On your next exhale, releasing the foot if it's held. Take your hand back to the mat, your right hand, and then start to bring yourself back onto your belly. So right leg meets the left and switch sides completely. So our heads now are going to come onto the right cheek. Okay, right arm is going to come out like a wing. I don't have a lot of space here myself. Maybe I'll move back here for a second here. So right arm comes out from the shoulder, okay, onto the side of our right face here. And then we'll take our left hand, place it on the floor, onto the mat, press in, bend the left knee, and take that left foot back behind you. Okay, so now we're on the right side of our bodies. Yeah. You can stay here, or you can take your left hand, bring it towards your low back. Okay, stay here, or like with the other side, maybe you decide to pick up your left foot, reach around, maybe grab that left ankle, okay? Wherever you are, you're still getting all the sweet benefits of this pose. A couple of breaths here. Next exhale, release your foot if it's held. Bring the hand back to the mat, your left hand. Come all the way back onto your bellies, legs extended. Slither yourselves back to the front of your mat if you've migrated like I have. Okay, hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes, tuck your elbows to your ribs, lift up through hands and knees, and then shift all the way back to downward dog. So settling ourselves into our dogs. Maybe our hands are a bit in front of the shoulders. Okay, sinking back towards our hips and heels. Letting go of any breath, any stale thoughts that are just circulating too much in that brain of yours. And then look towards your hands. Take a couple steps forward or a little leap of faith if that's in your practice. And we'll dangle it out here at the front of our mats. So forward fold, feet are parallel. Inhale, halfway lifting, contracting your bellies to your spines. Exhale, fall forward. Tuck your tailbone and your chin, rise up slowly, vertebra by vertebra. Your head is the last to come up, rock the shoulders back. And then keep the shoulders back as we start to bring the hands behind us, clasp our fingers together, one thumb on top of the other. Bring our shoulders open, right? Open shoulders. Inhale, rise tall through the crown of the head. Exhale, dip forward to forward fold. Fingertips still clasped over your spine. Inhale, halfway lifting. Exhale, forward folding. Release your hands now down towards the mat and take a step back with your left foot towards warrior one. So yes, it's a closed hip pose. We'll get more into open hips in a moment. I'd like you to bring your hands maybe on top of that front thigh, the right thigh, as you rise up. Front knee is bent. Take your hands on your hips for a sec. Really guide that left hip forward, right hip crease in. Okay. Again, can't emphasize that enough. Front knee is still bent over the ankle. Take your arms up now on the inhale. Sorry, plant. Exhale here, plug your shoulders into their sockets, and then bend the right elbow so that our hand starts to touch our upper back. Okay, fingertips are right there. Take our left hand and place it on top of your right elbow. Okay, neck and head is nice and tall and long. Now maybe reach your right fingertips down your back, down your spine for that additional stretch and towards the right side into the armpit. Okay. Inhale, release your arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands down towards the ground. Step back to downward dog. Take a few steps back to get there maybe. Leading with your left leg still, rise your left leg up towards the ceiling. And this time, instead of square hips, we will open our hips. So bend the left knee, almost like you want to kick yourself in the pants with your left foot. Peel open the left knee, keeping our shoulders nice and square. Our left shoulder usually wants to lift up too, but keep them as square as possible. Bring your left leg back through center, square hips, lift up through the heel. Look towards your hands as we shift forward to like a three-legged plank. Take your knee into your chest, round your spine, and step that left foot forward. Okay, drop the right foot down towards the ground, and then windmill your arms up towards warrior two. Okay, now we are in that nice wide-legged pose. Okay, so left knee is open instead of collapsing in, arms out, hands parallel to the ground, palms facing down. Take one more moment here. Inhale. Exhale. Take your hands back behind you. Clasp your fingers together. Take your shoulders back and down. Now looking towards the center of your mat, that's where our heads and hearts are leading. Okay? Keep the front knee bent over the ankle as we inhale to lift the heart open. On the exhale, hinge forward to the center of your mat to drop your head down. Open hips, open hearts. On your next breath in, contract your abs so belly button to spine lifts up your torso. Exhale to release your wings of warrior two. Windmill your hands onto either side of the front foot. Pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Step yourself forward. Yeah, dangle it out here. Maybe taking opposite elbows this time, swaying side to side. Release your arms. Inhale, halfway lifting. Exhale, hinge back to forward fold. This time's arms out in front of you to sweep up, to stand up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, palms to your heart. Let's take the opposite clasp with our fingers back behind us, meaning the opposite thumbs on top, the one that feels awkward, okay? So our shoulders go back and down again. Inhale, reach up through the heart. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, down. Inhale for a pause. Exhale, release the arms. Lead with the right foot back to warrior one. Maybe just a couple steps back or feet back. Okay, hands can come on towards the front thigh and then lift our torso up completely, arms up, shoulders plugged in, hips are square, right? So again with the other side, remember we had our hands on our hips. Bring that right hip forward, left hip crease back. Yeah. So with our hands up nice and tall, Bend the left elbow, take the palm of your hand to your upper back and take your right hand on top of your left elbow. Reach down your spine with those left fingertips. Still staying nice and dignified with the crown of your head up towards the sky. Breathing into the left side of the body. Exhale. Let's inhale, rise arms up. Exhale, hands down to the earth. Step back, downward facing dog. Take a moment here. Leading with the right leg this time. Inhale, reach that right leg up. Exhale here. Bend the right knee. Open the right hip like you want to kick yourself in the pants again on the opposite side. Keep your shoulders square. Maybe open up that right knee a little bit more. On your next exhale, take your right knee back through center to square your hips. Rise up through that right heel. Look forward between the hands, shift forward to plank, and then take a big step forward with that right foot between the hands. Lower the left heel down. This time, windmill your arms up, palms facing down. So warrior two, opposite side. Back toes facing in slightly. Front knee not just over the ankle, but peeling open to the right instead of collapsing in, right? Good. Palms facing down. Pause here. Let's take our hands back behind us. Take the opposite clasp with the opposite thumb on top, the awkward feeling one. Okay, shoulders back, open shoulders. On the exhale, as we take a gaze to the middle of the mat, send your hearts down towards that drishti point or focal point. Front knee stays bent. Use your inhale to firm up those abs and rise your core up, your torso up. Exhale to release your hands. Okay, perfect. This time what I want you to do on this side is take your hands to your hips and pivot the right toes in. Okay, so now we've got all 10 toes facing the long edge of our mats. Okay, take your hands to your hips and then take your 10 toes out away from one another and bend your knees into goddess pose. Okay, so knees going in the same direction as those toes pointed out, sitting back and down, tucking the tailbone under slightly to really sit back into that kind of imaginary chair or stool. Okay, yeah. Now take your hands on your thighs, fingertips facing forward. Alrighty, so another little thing for the shoulders here, also the hips, right? Keep breathing. Inhale here. On your exhale, drop your right shoulder down and look to the left. Inhale, reach up through the heart. Exhale, drop left shoulder, look to the right. Once again, reach up, inhale. Exhale, drop right shoulder, look to the left. Inhale. Exhale, drop left shoulder, look to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale through center, all the way down. Take fingertips down to the earth and now bring the toes in towards one another. Lengthen the legs, okay, and find your wide-legged forward fold. Knees can be slightly soft if you need to. Again, just remembering toes are now in slightly. Give your head a shake out. Oh yeah. And then take your right hand, place it right underneath your heads. Okay. Press the fingertips down or the full hand down into the earth as you rise your left arm up for a twist and opening that left shoulder. Pressing into the mat to lift that left shoulder up and open even more. Exhale, float the left hand down, switch sides, press into the mat with the left fingertips or full palm. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, down. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, down. Last one, right arm up. Exhale, down. Now I'd like you to walk your hands out in front of you like a wide-legged downward dog. So what happens in downward dog, we still shift the hips back, even though the arms are coming forward. I know the hips want to come forward too. Arms come forward, hips go back. Let the head dangle between the arms. Walk your hands back in towards your legs now. Pivot yourself towards the front of your mat. Okay, right toes go forward. Hands on either side of the right leg. Bring the left foot forward, or actually swivel it on towards the ball of the back foot like a runner's lunge. Okay, high runner's lunge, so back knees lifted, and then step the left foot forward. So pausing here, front of the mat, letting that go. Coming back to square hips, closed square hips, neutral hips actually. Inhale halfway. Exhale forward. Rooting down to the feet, sweeping arms out in front of you to rise up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, palms to your heart. Okay, so feet are hip distance apart. Let's take our right hand to our chest, to our heart center, and the left arm, which is parallel to the ground, open palm. Let's start to open that left arm to the back of the room. Okay, so as we twist and open the shoulder, just keep the feet glued to the mat, but please, by all means, bring your hips with you because I don't want you to find any kind of bizarre holding in that area, right? So we really do want to bring our body with us, except for our feet, as we open the left side. Come back through center with the left hand, palm onto heart. This time, take the right arm out. Feet are still glued to the mat. Exhale, right hand to our hearts. One more on each side. Open left side. Exhale, back through center. Last one. Inhale, right side open. Exhale, hand to heart. Bring arms up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, come down to forward fold. Inhale, one more halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. Step back to downward dog. Take a second or two here. Rise your right leg sky high. And then looking towards the front of your mat, we're taking our right knee just beyond or behind our right wrist for pigeon pose, okay? So if you already know that pigeon pose is a little too tough on your knees, it's a little too much there. If you're familiar with pigeon pose, stay here, okay? Nice upright with our hips square. And I'll give you an alternative for those of you that are finding some discomfort in the knees. You might come to your back bodies instead and take the right ankle just above the left knee, excuse me. As you pick up that left knee, knee is bent, and you take your hands in between or on either side of the left leg, clasp fingers, and find a number 4 shape here on your back, okay? So that's another alternative. Otherwise, we're in our traditional pigeon pose here, okay? The front foot, right foot, always flexed to protect the knee, okay? Back leg extended, toes can be tucked or untucked. Maybe coming down to forearms, if that's in your practice. I think when most people think of hip openers, they think of this pose. So it's a very common hip opener for yoga, and it's a great one. Okay, it never gets old. It is a great pose. Also has an awesome name in Sanskrit. It's Ekapadaraja Kapotasana, I believe. It's a very long Sanskrit word. Okay, if your on your forearms like myself, come back onto your hands. If you're on your backs, you can let go of that right leg, switch up the legs, so come back for feet flat on the earth, knees up to the sky, and take the left ankle this time on top of that right thigh or just beyond the knee. Okay, if we're here in traditional pigeon, I'd like you to tuck your toes, your back toes under, press into your hands, lift that back knee up onto the ball of the back foot, and then back to downward dog. So lift back up to downward facing, maybe walking it out here a little bit. Find stillness, and then rise the left leg up, nice and tall. Look towards your hands, shift forward. So we can now take the left knee just behind the left wrist, extending right leg out nice and long, either tucking the back toes or not. Finding nice square hips. Front foot, left foot is flexed just to protect the knee as well there. Maybe staying nice and tall here, fingertips or palms of the hands. Or, I love the word or, right? Lots of options. You might come down to your forearms. And perhaps closing the eyes. Find a couple more breaths on this side. Slowly rise up onto your hands if you were on your forearms. If you're on your backs, okay, unwind the legs, extend the legs out nice and long, lie on your back bodies because we will join you there in a moment. Those of us in traditional king pigeon pose, tuck the back toes under. Okay, press in towards your hands, lift the back knee, and lift back to downward dog. If in downward dog, maybe a couple more bending of one knee than the others. Finding stillness again. Lowering our knees down to the earth so we can meet everyone else on their backs. Okay, finding our seats. Coming to the front of our mats. And then slowly but surely lying back down. So if you know me, you know that I like to sometimes do this as slow as possible, as to work into the core a bit here. We didn't do much core in this practice. So the hands might slide down the thighs, chin is tucked, slowly with control. Watching that your feet don't lift up. That's very difficult to do because sometimes they really want to, especially as you get to a certain point. Okay. Vertebra by vertebra touches the earth. Head is the last to come down. I'm just going to wiggle my way out to the full length of my mat. Extending legs out. Bring arms over your head and give yourself a big body stretch. So toes pointed away from fingers. Exhale, release. Okie dokie. Let's take our knees in towards our heart centers for happy baby. So another very traditional and amazing hip opener, okay? So hands to the insides of the knees, flex the feet. You might take hold of the ankles or the shins, okay? Maybe you're reaching and taking hold of the outsides of the feet, flexing the feet to the sky. And exhale here, knees into armpits. Perhaps rocking side to side. And maybe even, because I like to do this in child's pose, when you come over to the left and you rock to the left, extend the right leg so that the left knee is still coming into the armpit, but the right leg's extended. Then come back through center, bend the right knee, come to the right side, extend the left leg now. And maybe keep doing that back and forth. Yeah, kind of we're pumping some sort of interesting bicycle, a very wide-legged bicycle. right? Come back through center, extend legs up towards the ceiling so that our hips are square again, hands to the backs of the legs, pressing the low back into the earth, pointing the toes up to the sky, and doing that a few times, toes in towards you, flex the feet, point the toes. A couple more times just like that. And we are ready for, nice little crack of my ankle there, for Shavasana. So bend the knees down, plant feet on the floor. And I'll give you this option here for Shavasana. Instead of long legs, maybe the feet are on the earth and the feet are walked out to the edges of the mat because we did lots of opening poses of our hips. If you'd like here, maybe collapse the knees in to close the hips, give them a bit of a break. Just an option. It also helps to sink the low back down a bit here when we're in this position, right? So resting the low back, or your legs can be extended. Okay, arms out on either side of the body, palms facing up. My favorite word, or take the palms to the belly. Okay, close your eyes. Find your breath. So we're going to release any manipulation of breath. Find a steady, natural rhythm of breath. Every exhale, allowing yourself to release and sink a little deeper into the earth. The earth still has your back. You can trust the earth to do the holding of your body so you can let go. Begin to bring awareness back to your body's lying here in your safe space. Wiggling fingers and toes. If your knees are bent, extend your legs out long now. Bring your arms over your heads. Find the biggest, longest body stretch on the inhale. And exhale to release your limbs. Hug your knees to your hearts. Rocking side to side. Eventually rolling to one side or the other in your fetal position. Taking a sec here in this transition. And using the ground to press yourselves back up to a seat. So any seat will do. I'm going to come to my knees for this one. You might sit in a cross-legged position. Once you find your tall seat, float your hands to Anjali Mudra, prayer position at heart center. And take that prayer of hands you've made up towards your third eye point, towards your foreheads. Sending out kind thoughts for yourselves and for others. Float your thumbs down to your lips for kind thoughts for yourself and for others. Speech, for yourself and for others. I just want kind thoughts all the time. And then take your thumbs down to your hearts for kind actions for yourself and for others. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you find that inhale count of 4 and exhale count of 6 helpful throughout your day. Remember, you can use it at any time. Namaste.